Alrighty, so I just finished watching the US take on Saudi Arabia in the second group stage Gold Cup game that the US are involving, and all I'll say about that game is, yeah, it was a game. The US won. They move on into the next round, and we will not speak again of what happened in that game because, yeah, to say that it was not a pretty win is putting it kindly, and obviously I can immediately hear the doomer out there talking about how bad this team is, and that this team, of course, have no shot in terms of winning the Gold Cup, and that the progress of this team look like they're going to get absolutely annihilated in the World Cup, which could still be the case. But hey, I'm just going to get to a point where I'll take it one game at a time, and that as long as the U.S. continue to win games, as the old saying goes, you win games and you continue to win in the tournament, you're gonna eventually win the trophy itself, whether it's pretty or not. But with that being said, let us now talk about the two Club World Cup game that MLS team is involving, because I know that today the Seattle Sounders were playing against Atletico Madrid in one of the club group stage game, but I didn't know that Inter Miami was also playing today against Porto. And one of the biggest issue of games that is taking place in the middle of the week during daytime is not just because of the attendance being bad, but it's just simply I can't watch these games. I mean, I'm at work right now, so basically I wasn't able to watch this game at all because I was at work. So that's why, as I'll talk about in the notes, it's going to be very similar to what you see in some of my reviews, where you can kind of clearly tell in terms of some of the reviews. I don't go too detail into talk about what happened in the game because I really rely on the highlights, and I rely on the highlights in terms of seeing what happened in this game. But the game between the Sounder and Atletico Madrid, I was able to watch it in full. But with that being said, the game that I did not watch between Inter Miami versus Porto live, well, I did miss out on some history, as this is the first time in MLS history we see an MLS team able to win in a Club World Cup game and also win against a European opposition. Now, some might say that this is not easy, not hard to do when you are Inter Miami and you have all the good players and Messi and friends being there. And sure, yes, Messi played a big part in terms of the game. He basically went vintage Messi in terms of scoring that winning goal against Porto. But you can also give credit in terms of the fact that while everybody, of course, talked about Messi and friends, there are some good youth players on this team, and that fact that people don't give Inter Miami enough credit. The fact that this team has developed some really good young talent and have some really good supporting cast. And at the end of the day, as much as they are being very hated because of Messi and friends and all the talk within the media, you still got to give credit in terms of the supporting cast really working hard. And throughout these games so far, and really throughout these last couple of games, and them kind of turning things around after just a disastrous May that they had, it feels like Inter Miami is kind of back to where we were last season, where the whole reason why they won the Supporter Shield wasn't mainly because Messi and friends kind of carried the team, but it's mainly because the supporter cast really carried the team. Remember last year, this was an Inter Miami team that won the Supporter Shield despite the fact that Messi only play half of the game. And in this one, I thought they probably would have won this one even more comfortably. I mean, I thought they really took it to Porto. I mean, Porto had a couple of chances, but Inter Miami definitely had more of the dangerous chances, and probably could have won this one more, especially in the first half, where they probably should have scored in the first half in this one. Though, that being said, in the first half, just 3 minutes in fact, this was already the first chance that they score, as Ramos denied Suarez from close range. Yeah, Luis Suarez definitely did not have a good game in this one. He missed a lot of big chances, but as usual, Miami had most of the possession early. They dictate the plays, but then a penalty was given to Porto, as VAR deemed that Allen brought down João Mario in the box there. So here comes Samu, a chance that stepped up for Porto to give the European side the lead, and they did exactly that. So yeah, that made it 1-0 in favor of the Portuguese side, and Ustari actually almost saved this one. Remember, Ustari did save the penalty kick against Lane in the first game of the group stage that Inter Miami was, and in that opening match in the FIFA Club World Cup, and he almost had a chance to do it again in this moment, but this time unfortunately just couldn't quite keep this one out. Just enough pace that Samu, the Porto attacker, got got in terms of scoring from the spot, and just like that, Porto leads it 1-0, and it was kind of a disaster start for Inter Miami that wants to finally score their first goal in this tournament to maybe get something going. Well, Suarez did look to respond, but he was denied by Ramos after just a bad turn over there from Porto. And then he denied Kamaski from close in the 35th minute. So the Porto goalkeeper Ramos, he was definitely a big part of the story in terms of keeping Inter Miami off the score sheet. And again, they are knocking on the door, but can they get that crucial equalizer? Well, before that, this is when Porto really put the most pressure I thought in this game. It started with Mora had a shot that was clear off the line by Falcon before Ustari denied Samu from close range, and then the post denied Valari from close in the 44th minute. I thought Miami need halftime badly because Porto was putting all sorts of pressure, looking to try to get that second goal. And the good news for Miami, they do head to halftime with the deficit only at 1-0, and that was huge because just 2 minutes into the second half, they would tie the game up as Segovia would score from Wegan and Alande to tie the game up at one apiece. Vieira looked to respond for Porto, but he puts it wide from long range before Messi puts it wide on the free kick in the 50th minute. But then in the 54th minute, he does not miss this free kick. Just a vintage Messi free kick. You could definitely question the wall setup there from Porto, but Messi's gonna do Messi thing in terms of the free kick. You knew that he was gonna do something special. When it comes to like tournament in itself, the goat himself is gonna create a magical moment, and this is definitely gonna be one of the more talk about goal we will see throughout the rest of the tournament. And yeah, just like that, Miami were leading 2-1. We then go through a long period of time where not much really happened, and that kind of favored Miami. They want to make sure that Porto doesn't get themselves back in to this game. I thought Miami continued to have the possession, and they did a good job defensively, not really creating allowing too much for Porto to attack. And I think that's also a key thing to mention. As much as I know Miami is a team that is very good on the attack end, the defense has been an issue this season, and that was the biggest concern heading into this tournament. And so far, the fact that they have yet to give up an open play goal. I mean, the only goal that they gave up so far this tournament came from the penalty spot. That's got to be a huge not only a sigh of relief for Inter Miami fans, but that's got to be a great sign if you're Javier Mascherano's side, seeing that the defense, which has been leaky at best in league play, has been just so solid so far in this Club World Cup. But in the 81st minute, Samu would heads it wide from close before he puts it over from long range, as there was no doubt that Miami started to kind of hold on a little bit. It seems like they're trying to bunker their way to get all 3 points, which is something we usually don't see about this Miami side. But again, knowing that they have a chance to make history, becoming the first MLS team to do so, they're definitely trying to survive to get this massive 2-1 win. But they did had a chance to shut the door as Fafa Pico was in on goal there, had a chance to shut the door, but he was denied by Ramos again. And again, the Porto goalkeeper Ramos, if it wasn't for him, this probably could have been easily 3 or 4-1 in favor of Inter Miami. But instead, Inter Miami make history of becoming the first ever MLS team to win a game in the FIFA Club World Cup and the first ever MLS team to beat a European side in a competitive matchup. The shots in this one, only 6 shots compared to 14 that Porto has. There's no way in the world Miami only had 6 shots in this one because I think they, judging by the chances they have, I'm pretty sure they have more than 6 shots. Though if they did only had 6 shots, there was a lot of them was on target, and Ramos, the Porto goalkeeper, had to make a couple of saves. In fact, 5 shots on goal for the 3 that Porto has, 4 shots off target for the 1 that Miami has, no shots that was blocked for the 6 that Porto has, and possession-wise, 51% possession compared to the 49% possession that Inter Miami has in this one. And well, some will say that this is Porto. They're not definitely not considered to be one of the juggernaut not in European soccer, but still, this is still a decent European side, and also this is one of the top team in the Portuguese league itself, and let's also not to mention that they also are former European champion themselves back in 2004. So the achievement that Miami, of course, had, well, yes, I think is kind of maybe be a little bit diminished because of the fact that this team have Messi and friends and have the high end talent that might be even just enough in terms of overcome a European side like that. You still can't take anything away the fact that this is a great achievement by this Miami side. And again, I feel like the a lot of people are kind of overlooking the achievement because of Messi and Fred. When in reality, yes, Messi and Fred definitely made a part of it, and is one of the big reason why they got the win in this one. But they also have supporter cast and also homegrown player on this starting 11 that were performing against one of the best team in Portugal and one and a European side like that. I mean, it's not very often you see an MLS side or even just any side that is a non-European side that can go toe to toe with a European side and can come out with a resort itself. And that's kind of what we saw in this game between the Sounders and Atletico Madrid, which I had a feeling that this was going to be a tough game and definitely going to be a loss for the Seattle Sounders because Atletico Madrid. I say Porto is one of the best Portuguese team in the world or one of the best Portuguese team in their respective league. The same goes for Atletico Madrid itself. Yes, I know that they got absolutely destroyed by PSG, but PSG is basically the reigning European champion and a team that is basically the odds-on favorite to win this club World Cup. But yeah, in this game, I would say that coming into this one for the Sounders and really for the next game against PSG as well, as long as you play respectfully, then I think that's what Sounders fans care. And guess what they did in this game? They played respectfully. Yes, the scoreline won't show it. And one of the big issue for the Sounders in this game, and this is kind of a big issue for a lot of MLS team that I've noticed playing against a much more bigger European opposition. They don't take their chances. And how many times we said that when you're a heavy underdog, you have to take advantage of your chances. And for the Sounders, you just wonder with all the chances that they had in this game, they had a lot of chances. Atletico was giving them chances to score goals, which is something I definitely did not expect a Diego Simeone team do. I mean, Diego Simeone team is always a very rigid and very tough to break down kind of team, but the Sounders they found some chances to score against Atletico Madrid, and I think deep down, even though I know this is a respectable resort for the Sounders, even in this loss. I think deep down, if you ask Brian Schmetzer, he would say that, yeah, we probably could have at least got a point in this game if we actually were able to capitalize on some of the chances that we missed throughout this game. Now, in the first half, and really in the first 10 minutes, yeah, it didn't look good for the Sounders. I mean, Atletico Madrid kind of just shut out the cannon in this one. The first shot of the game, see Sorloth hits it right to Fry before not only Atletico had most of the possession, but it just feels like what we've seen at least for most MLS team, where not only they did not start on time coming into the game, but also they have to survive just onslaught of pressure that a much superior opponent is going to be playing against them. And in this case, they definitely had to survive some pressure that Atletico Madrid was putting early in this one. Alvarez was then in on goal there, but he somehow missed that one wide. Yeah, that is one that it was pretty shocking to see Julian Alvarez miss that one. He's one of the best attackers in the world, and 9 out of 10 times, if not, I would say 99 out of 100 times, that should have been put into the back net, and I thought Seattle got left off the hook in a big way. But unfortunately, just as I wrote that, they would concede on the next sequence as Pablo Barrios would score from Simeone to make it 1-0 in favor of Atletico Madrid. Solarov then puts it high from point blank in the 15th minute as Atletico Madrid was all over the Sounders in this point. In fact, the shots were already 8-0 in favor of Atleti. Just 15 minutes into this one, and I thought, oh boy, this could get ugly for the Sounders. Now, this the credit to the Sounders, this is when they really start to show that, yeah, they can get themselves into this game. The first shot for them, see Oblak denying Muswaski from the near post. There was a shout for a handball for Seattle not given. But, the Sounders, they definitely have woke up and started to create some decent chances. Though, as I said that, Fry had to rob Sorloff on a 1v1 opportunity before on the other end, Oblak would deny Bell as the flag went up. Again, the Sounders, they're getting some big chances against us at Atleti team, but the question is, can they find that clinical finishing? And also, it's not going to be easy in terms of beating one of the best goalkeeper in the world in Young Oblak. I mean, he's definitely one of the top three goalkeeper in the world right now, and that yeah, it's not going to be easy in terms of trying to beat him. Well, Rodon tried to do so, and keep in mind, Christian Rodon is the first player to score a goal for an MLS team in the Club World Cup. Well, he tried to make it a second goal that he scored for the Sounders in this Club World Cup, but he puts it high from long range. And then it looked like there was a penalty that was given to Atletico as Baker Whiting looked like he brought down Simeone in the box. They go to VAR to see whether or not if that is the case. And I gotta say, I was a little bit surprised that they overturned this. I thought there was enough contact and there wasn't really enough. I would say that they could overturn that call, but yeah, they decided to overturn that call. So yeah, for once, it seems like the VAR gods are smiling on the Sounders in this one. Something that I'm pretty sure if you're a Sounders fan, you're probably even shocked yourself because usually it's kind of the other way around. That always kind of goes against the Sounders when it comes to VAR calls. So no penalty, of course, was given to Atleti. Lorente then puts it wide from close range before Baker Whiting would puts it wide from long range. Seattle continued to get some chances, and you just kind of had a feeling that they still have a chance coming back in this game in the second half. I feel like the message heading into the second half for Brian Schmetzer is just keep playing the way that they're playing. I mean, obviously they need to be a little bit better on the defensive end. I thought the problem the Sounders had, at least in the beginning, is they just keep giving the ball over in their own half. You cannot do that when you're facing against a good team like Atletico Madrid, and I thought they did a lot of that throughout the first 15 minutes, and they kind of continue to do that as the game goes along. But at the same time, they were creating some chances of their own, and almost kind of play to that fearless kind of factor. They could easily just maybe bunker in and hope for a 1-0 loss, but they really kind of got become a little bit aggressive trying to get that tying goal. And again, if they can do so, maybe this could be interesting, right? Well, then the second half happened, and it only took 2 minutes for Atletico Madrid to double their lead, as Axel Witsel would score from Lerma to make it 2-0 in favor of Atletico Madrid. Lorente actually hits a rocket of a shot that struck the post, but this one actually stayed in play. It actually hits off the post and then bounce on the ground. Somehow it stayed in play there, and then this was Lerma, the one that was able to just kind of chipped it over the Fry there, and Witzel was just completely unmarked there. I mean, there was a lot of ball watching that was going on by that Sounders defense, and they were punished for that, as now they found themselves 2-0 down. But 3 minutes later, Albert Rusnak would score, so that made it 2-1 in this one. And again, talk about fortunate bounces. We also mentioned the Rodon goal that Seattle scored against Botafogo came from a deflection. Well, they got another fortunate bounce here, that Rusnak was able to get there and buries it, and that was exactly what the Sounders needed, because all of a sudden they're back in this game. Or not, because in the 55th minute, Pablo Barrios would score his second goal of the game. So that made it 3-1 in favor of Atleti, and that's just an absolute backbreaker for the Sounders. Just as they thought that they got themselves back in the game, and just as you thought that they show a lot of mental fortitude, now all of a sudden they found themselves to go down again. And they could have been 3 go down if it wasn't for the post denying Alvarez on the volley. Yeah, they definitely hit the post a lot in this game. And I thought that they would look like they're rolling again and trying to put a crooked number in this game as well. Though every time I said that, the Sounders have a response, almost like they kind of saw what I wrote and they said, "Nah, we're gonna trying to continue to push." It starts with Alex Rodon have a shot that was deflected and goes wide before Cozy Ramsey when hits it high from long range in the 68th minute. The shots were 14-12 for Atletico up to that point, so not as big of a margin compared to what we saw in the beginning. In fact, the Sounders, ever since they got outshot 8-0 to begin the game, they actually outshot Atleti 12-6 ever since that point. Gallen then hits it right to Fry in the 76th minute before Jesus Ferreira thought that he got one back for the Sounders. Problem was the flag did not agree with him, and it was the right call. I mean, Jesus Rivera was at least 3 or 4 yards offside, so no goal, of course, was score here. I gotta feel bad for the kids that they show after the goal was score. They were definitely celebrating, thinking that it was 3-2, and in reality, yeah, it was pretty obvious that was offside. So the goal did not stand. But again, you got to give credit to the Seattle Sounders. They're hanging in this game. They're being aggressive. Yes, they are leaving a lot of space at the back, but what, I'm pretty sure they don't really care coming into this one. I mean, they do care because with this loss, they're pretty much almost mathematically eliminated from this competition. But advancing was never the thing that the Sounders was worried about. It's all about gaining respect and all about playing going toe to toe to Atletico Madrid, and I thought they did a good job throughout this game. Again, creating some chances, and I feel like if they would have able to put away some of their chances and maybe be a little bit more clinical, and or heck, if they had Morris healthy in this game, this kind of feels like a game if Jordan Morris was healthy and he didn't come off the bench in this one either, which I thought he probably could have, but I guess maybe Brian Schmetzer doesn't really want to risk him, especially with this game kind of being out of reach. But if they had a healthy Jordan Morris in this one, I guarantee you this game would have been even more interesting, and that the Sounders would really be going toe to toe with one of the best European team in the world. Manungu then hits it right to Oblak in the 83rd minute. I thought Manungu had a really big impact, and this is not a big surprise. He is a definition of a cheat code for the Seattle Sounders, similar to what we see with Milan Iloski with San Diego, coming off the bench and making an instant impact to to your team. But yeah, in the end, Atletico Madrid does win 3-1 in this one against the Sounders. But like I said, the Sounders, they put up a heck of a fight. In fact, they actually outshot Atletico Madrid in the end. 17 shots compared to 15 that Atletico Madrid had. 7 shots on goal for 4 that Seattle has. 4 shots off target for the 2 that Atleti has. 3 shots that was blocked for the 6 that the Sounders had. And possession-wise, 58% possession compared to the 42% possession the Sounders has in this game. And really, whatever happens in the next game against PSG, and who knows if they're gonna get absolutely blown out of the door by PSG in this one. I just got to tip my hats off to the Seattle Sounders. They really represent the league, and in general, MLS team in this club World Cup. I know the record is not very good when you look at how they've been performing, but when you look at how they've been performing against some of these better team in Europe and some of these much superior team have a higher budget, the fact that they've been able to go toe to toe against them, that's definitely something that's great to see. And the fact that it also kind of makes me wonder how can they not do this against Liga MX's opponent? Because I'm pretty sure if you can go toe to toe with a European giant, or you can pull off this win like what Inter Miami did against Porto, you just wonder why can MLS team do that down in Mexico? Maybe I would say it could be due to the fact that the altitude and the fact that these MLS team does have the advantage of kind of playing in a home field. Maybe that kind of gave them a little bit of boost compared to them playing in Mexico. But yeah, it's always very interesting to see. But maybe this could be used as a way that, hey, MLS team can definitely hang with some of the best team in the world. So if we can do so, we can definitely do the same thing when we play against Liga MX's opponent in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But there you have it. That is pretty much it when it comes to the review of both of these games. Tomorrow we do have another game involving team in the FIFA Club World Cup. I believe LAFC is going to be playing, and I think they're playing against. Are they playing against Tunisia, an African team? That is a team that I think LAFC has a big opportunity to get points out of that. If I'm not, I think they're playing. Are they playing against Tunisia or Flamengo? It's one of those two teams that they of course play. And I already mentioned the fact that LAFC out of these three MLS teams that potentially can get a win, I thought LAFC was going to do so because the other opponent that they face are going to be much easier than what they had to deal with against Chelsea. And even in that game, they look respectable as well. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.